So I felt like doing a video to show some support to Variablast. Now, recently, Variablast has been a topic of discussion in a lot of chat rooms and Skype conferences that I've been in. And many times he has been the subject of ridicule for his cause, trying to get the word nigger to mean human being. About 4 weeks ago, a YouTube user named Watcher Azazel put together all three Evil Dead movies into one long Evil Dead movie by editing out all the flashbacks. And while we were watching it in Blog TV, because he did a screening, Variablast showed up, and we were joking about his cause for changing the word nigger to mean human being by saying that all the zombies in the Evil Dead movie were now ziggers, and that when you die, you don't have a choice in the matter. Everybody becomes a zigger. And all sorts of different takes on popular catchphrases that would normally have the word nigger were changed to the word zigger. And we had a good time with it. But that was about the nicest of all of the groups that I've been in that have talked about Variablast, and I wanted to make this video just to show you guys that there is a nice human being here who is actually trying to do something nice. 2 weeks ago or so, I had a back and forth in videos with a YouTube user named Avi Owens, a black Canadian girl, and one of the people that came to my defense was Variablast, and I saw the comments that he was leaving on her videos, but it was Seaside Antitheist that showed me that he left a comment on her channel page, and part of the comment reads, "I agree with you about Agent of Doubt. He makes good videos only because he is physically attractive and mentally stalwart." Now, I know that Avi doesn't believe this because she has said in her videos that there's nothing that I can say of consequence because I am an atheist. So he's talking with a lot of sarcasm when he says this, and he's making light of the situation. But I like that he came to stick up for me when other people did not. And something that happened recently that I'll get to later, it made me think twice yet again about ridiculing Variablast for trying to do something that he thinks is good, and trying to soften the definition of nigger to mean human being instead of the pejorative that it is in our culture today. So, this thing that happened to me recently reminded me of how prejudiced my own family can be sometimes, and how I get jokes sent to me all the time from them that are just really off color. And the first one, the first instance of horrible racism that I can remember in my life was from my own grandfather when I used some golf clubs in the backyard to launch peach pits all through the neighborhood. I was basically practicing my golf swing with a one wood and launching things pretty far. But occasionally, with this driver, I wouldn't be able to make it over the back fence, which was a brick wall. And so a lot of these peach pits hit the wall and made huge stains of splat everywhere. When my grandfather came home, he went into the backyard, and I hid the golf clubs really quick when I heard his car coming. He had an Oldsmobile that was a diesel car, and it clicked, and you could hear it coming up the driveway. Really easy. Well, he got out of his car and came to the backyard to find me playing with a toy. And he looked at the back wall, and he got very angry. Now, I thought he was going to get angry at me. But, as it turns out, our next door neighbors across the back wall were black. And he saw the wall, and he saw their house behind the wall. And he immediately said to me, "Those damn niggers, they think just because they're black they have a license to steal." Because he was mad that all of his unripened peaches were just smashed against the wall. And he immediately assumed that it was them. And I didn't stand up and say, "No, it was me." I just hid the golf clubs, I didn't want to take the rap for it. And from that, I learned that if I just let someone get blamed for some, if it's me or a black person, I'm more likely to be not suspected of something. That's what I learned from that experience. Now, at a very young age, that black people were easy scapegoats, because if you live in a family that's racist, they will believe the worst of black people and take a white person's word over the black person's word pretty much all the time. I only lived with my grandfather until I was 8.5, like solidly, and then I moved to where my father lived, which he was in the Army, and outside of a military installation in Arizona, it was a lot different than in South Central LA, where there was a lot more racism in LA. I remember playing a game on the playground in LA called Gookbusters, because there was a Cambodian apartment complex very close to us. And, it was kind of like freeze tag, only white people were the only ones who had the power to freeze other people. It was a very strange game, and we had these little mock-up badges and mock-up wallets that we would say, and it was a take on the movie Ghostbusters. Now, you might be thinking this is a horrible, horrible thing for kids to be playing, but our teachers didn't stop us, and they saw what we were doing, and we were second graders doing this. Yeah, it's a lot more horrible than just the second graders doing it. When you think about some of the instructors in particular, I remember making racial remarks to the Cambodian kids, and it was a very, very racially divided place that I lived in Long Beach, California. And moving to a community right outside a military installation in Arizona, it's a completely different world, because no matter who you were as a kid, your dad probably has somebody of another race that is his boss somewhere up the chain of command. And the Army is a great place for diversity, and everyone gets a fair shake there. So, yeah. I saw in my life two different extremes of acceptance and love for other cultures, and then just complete bigotry and prejudice. And when I think of all the different jokes that I've heard that really just, they keep this hatred going from one part of my family, I think about Variablast and his his campaign to try to change these words and try to, I guess, bring people together. So, Variablast's definition for the word nigger is what I think a lot of people have the biggest problem with him. You just can't change the definition of a word if you're one person working at it. It's the same kind of feeling that people say to anyone who thinks that they have a dream and that they're going to make it big with their dream. There's always going to be naysayers, and the word changed in its history, and every movement starts with one or a couple people working at something. And I got this book right here. It's called Nigger, The Strange Career of a Troublesome Word. And it's by Randall Kennedy. And there's many, many, many definitions of the word here in this book. And reading this book actually helped me come to my definition of the word. And outside of this video, I am what would be described in this book as an N-word abolitionist. I don't use the word nigger at all. And Variablast is the exact opposite. He wants to use it so much that it loses all meaning and all power, or give it a new meaning of just meaning human being. So that's where we differ. But the definition that I took from this book is that it's a definition of one of the people who contributed to it, and the definition is that to say nigger to someone, to call someone a nigger, is to say to them that whatever accomplishments that they might have had in their life, all of that is negated because of the color of their skin. And the reason why I don't use the word nigger, the reason why I'm an N-word abolitionist, is because that being my definition, I have never found a really good reason to use the word, because by my own definition, I don't think that anyone fits it. I don't think that you can take someone's achievements and negate them because of the color of their skin. That's ridiculous. If I ever did think that because somebody was a certain color, and because someone was a certain color, they, lost all meaning to anything that they could ever do, then I might use the word and use it properly according to how I feel the word has taken on this meaning in our culture today. But, I don't feel like it's possible, you know. So yeah, I really recommend this book. There's the author. There's the name of the book. It's easy to find. There's the author. Yeah. So another good book that I've read on the subject of race relations in America in particular, this book called Two Nations by Andrew Hacker. And this guy is actually part of a controversy about white people saying that the word nigger. By him making books about the word, some scholars have said that it gives other white people license to use the word in context, and the more context that white people have to be able to use the word, the worse off we are. And those people would be N-word abolitionists, like I am normally outside of this video. But it's really hard to make a video about the word without saying it. So I recommend this book too. It's really good about explaining how even in the same neighborhood there will be networks of white people and black people that will cross each other and pass each other's path driving, but they really do live in completely separate cultures that just overlap each other. And so, if you want to get this book, it's really interesting. And it goes over a whole bunch of the scientific studies that try to show differences in different races, such as the bell curve. So yeah. So all of this is actually because my brother got a text 2 days ago, and he read it to me. And I told him to forward it to me because I wanted to talk about it, because it brought all these thoughts back up in my head about all the different racist jokes that I get from some of my family. Last Christmas, the worst one was about a Hallmark Obama Christmas tree ornament being sold out down south, because, you know, people down south like to hang black people from trees. So this text that my brother got, I'm going to read it to you guys, and it isn't about black people or niggers or white people. This is completely different prejudice and racism, but it reminded me of all this. Forward, forward, forward. So this is at least the third generation since somebody either wrote this or couldn't figure out how to delete the forward just to send the joke. Okay. All convenience stores, mini-marts, hotels, and 7-Elevens will be closed this week due to death in the family. Now, obviously, this is a reference to the death of Osama bin Laden, and yeah. It's sad that sometimes being in circles where jokes like this get passed around, it's inescapable. You know, I'm not going to, you know, block my entire family from my Facebook. I can just hope that sometimes they will respect my wishes to not hear shit like this, and, you know, compartmentalize it all, and then that compartment that they stick it in just gets smaller and smaller, and I will never see all this hate that I've seen from them, you know, or at least it'll get less and less as we evolve as a culture, and I really do think that education is the answer to all of this. I really do associate racism and prejudice with lack of education in my family. And being one of the more educated people in my family, this is really tough for me because the other end of the spectrum outnumbers us greatly. And when I think about, wanting a better culture where, I don't have to feel so far apart from these prejudiced people in my family, I think about what Variablast is trying to do. And he could be very wrong in what he's doing. He could be one YouTube response video away from realizing that he's wrong about what he's doing. But that response that has taught him that he's wrong for doing this has not come. And the more I think about it, it boils down to his intentions for me. He's one of the more loving people here on YouTube, and his intentions are completely in the right place. And it does no good to just dismiss what he's trying to do and not give him a really good reason for dismissing him and just say, well, for the last 100 years, nigger has meant something bad, so it's going to mean something bad forever. To dismiss him like that is just completely unproductive, and you're really missing out on who this guy is. So, hopefully, the next time you run into Variablast and he leaves a comment and you have a problem with his message, you can tell him why you have the problem. And maybe he's already come across that and already has reasons for still commenting the way that he does. Maybe you can learn from somebody who's been at this campaign of his for a while now and still has not been taught that what he's doing is wrong, because no one has made a good enough argument to him. Maybe he's been shooting down other people's arguments, and to hear what he has to say, you could learn something. Just saying. So, that's the end of this video. I'm going to send a whole bunch of people in my family this really awesome picture of Obama kind of pointing with some sunglasses and his tie flapping, and he says, sorry I took so long getting you that birth certificate. I was too busy tracking down and killing Osama bin Laden. Yeah, this picture is awesome, and you guys can find it all over the internet right now, but I got some people to send it to. So, that's it.